But the question is he right? What's going on, America? Welcome to Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. Before we get into this video, I need y'all to do me a favor. Hit that like button, share my videos. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure your notification buttons are turned on to all. Subscribe to my alternative channel, just in case YouTube give me the slip or something. You'll know how to find me. Don't forget to check me out with all the podcasts and follow me on Rumble and the Jungle. All the links are listed below. If you want to donate to my channel, feel free. Those links are below as well. Now, with no further ado,
welcome to my party, we're just getting started.
What's going on, America? This is Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I've been wanting to react to this Nick Fuentes video where he's talking about, I guess, black people fatigue. And he says some pretty hurtful things when it comes down to black folks. But the question is he right? See, I want to watch and react to this video really objectively. Because, see, I know there are going to be a lot of folks who might even watch me respond to this video and say, well, you know what? This guy's racist. He's biased. I don't care what he is. The question is the substance of what he's saying. Is he really telling the truth, or is it not? Is it just filled with nothing but animus towards black people just because he hate them? Or is there some truth? And the reason that I want to react to this video is because sometimes you have to be able to step outside of yourself and look at yourself. Meaning this, when you're looking at yourself through your own eyes, you're biased. When you step outside and able to see yourself do something or say something and somebody really repeats it back to you to show you how crazy it looked or how crazy it sounded, that's when, if you're being honest, you're able to stop and say, yeah, ooh, that did look kind of bad. Perfect example of that is when I was in college. And I had to hand in a notebook that kept notes about this. You know, I was in a little dance class. You know, I ain't take it seriously. We were supposed to keep a documentation of the daily notes and stuff like that. Well, I didn't do it. So the night before it was supposed to be due, I went ahead and did this whole semester of notes in purple ink and handed that gibberish in to the professor. And she gave me an F. And it got to the coach, and the coach brought me in, and the coach was like, look, man, what's up with this F you got? I said, what F? Your professor said you didn't hand in your notes of each day. And I'm like, man, she lying on me, man, this and that. Man, I'm telling you, I did it. I handed it in. And I went in to talk to her, and I came in with an attitude. Hey, how you gonna just, give me an F on this whole thing? And I can't even believe I handed it in. She said, don't come in here starting out with me, okay? You handed in some trash. I could tell that you submitted this to me after writing it all like last night. And I'm like, nah, I ain't right. Now I know I did, but I'm sitting there like, but I ain't write it all last night. She's like, yes, you look, first of all, it's all in purple ink. And I'm like, maybe I just used the purple ink pen all semester. She's like, okay, even if you did, I'm gonna read you some of this stuff. All right. Today class was fun. I had fun in class today. Speaking of class, the class is about dancing, and I was dancing. I've been dancing a long time. And she's reading this back to me, and I'm listening to it, and I'm going, oh my God, did I sound like that? Did I really write that? If I'm her and I'm looking at this, I'm like, this little dude think he's pulling a fast one over on me, and he put this trash out here and want me to grade him seriously. After listening to it, I was like, ooh, yeah, okay, well, tell you what, could you give me another chance? She humbled me. I had to say, give me another chance, because I could have fought it. I could have said, it's because she's racist, because you know what, you didn't. No, I had to say, it's because I was trying to be sorry. That's what I was trying to be. I was trying to go ahead and beat the system. Yeah. So don't be going out there blaming her. When she read that mess back to me, I said, ugh. So that's what I really want a lot of folks to try to do. If you're black and you're checking this video out and you're not a conservative, whether you're conservative or not, I'm looking at what this dude is talking about through the eyes of growing up in black culture, knowing how black culture acts, being subjected to it. I'm not somebody removed from it. I'm a person who can identify with this culture and some of these behaviors you're about to see. That is why I'm able to objectively listen to this and say, ew. So with no further ado, let's get into it.
White people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid people when you see them. Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see what happens. And nobody is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of people pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way. You avoid their neighborhoods. You avoid going out on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And we are every bit justified because we see what's going on and we don't want to die. It's that simple. That's pattern recognition. That's not racism.
Now, so far, if you're just popping into this channel and you're listening to this guy, you're like, who's this white supremacist? Just because you're black, it's hard to hear a white person talk about black folks in this way. So your first reaction is to say, well, let me defend black people. But the question is it worth defending? Can you defend what this man is really saying that white people have every reason to be justified about? And I'll ask you this in this way. As a black person, once you have a higher degree of social skills and awareness, black folks also know that there are certain situations, certain neighborhoods, certain behaviors that come out of black folks that act a fool that you avoid. There are certain things that you say, as a black person, because I know black folks, I'm not going to put myself in that situation. And we're going to see some of those situations as we continue to react to what he's talking about. So, when it comes down to this, the question becomes, is it about racism or is it what he's talking about, pattern recognition? Now, I can objectively say, as a black person, I also have pattern recognition. There are certain things that I say, those black folks over there aren't acting dignified. They're not acting with good social skills. I'm not going to subject myself to that. Now, am I racist? Am I racist for doing that? Nope, not at all. So I get it, especially in this hypersensitive culture that we're living in right now, where they're talking about racism and all this stuff constantly. The question is, should white people be so liberal, so open-minded, and not want to ever feel like, look, I don't want to judge these people and prejudgment stuff, where they put themselves in dangerous situations? So I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. But there's evidence to support what he's saying. See, I'm not going to sit here and listen to this white man talk about black people like that without some evidence. So let's get into it.
That's pattern recognition. That's one. And two, I really hope, because I'm rooting for black people, like I'm rooting for humanity. I'm rooting for everybody to be safe and to be healthy and to be happy. I really hope that somewhere out there, although I'm not optimistic, people are starting to develop some sense of self-awareness. Where's the shame? Aren't you people ashamed? When I see these clips of the graduation ceremonies where they're twerking on stage and dancing, when I see these videos of the cheerleaders on the basketball court brawling it out, when I see the Carmelo Anthony, and not only that, but then they raise $500,000 for him and then they get a public defender. When I see that video of a security guard rifling through the pockets of an unconscious white guy that got his ass kicked, and the list goes on and on and on. You have to ask the people that are normally so proud, and with the chip on their shoulder, aren't you ashamed?
Now, that's a legitimate question, because honestly, after I watched the way those young people were acting on that stage right there, the question becomes, what other culture do you see behaving like this? That's my question. I mean, see, if you're a person that's looking at that going, they kicking it, they wilding out, girl, you know what I'm saying? They turning up. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. See, we have to, as black folks, have a higher standard when it comes down to our behavior. And certain behavior, also sets the tone for how people view you and what they interpret your behavior as. And when I look at that, I go, oh God, that's embarrassing. See, if this message was coming from anybody but this white guy right here, You know, if we were all sitting around, the table and we all black and we like, look at these folks acting ghetto. Yeah, we'll receive it. But it really hurts when it comes out of a white person's mouth. A white person that's honest enough to say, this is shameful. And, y'all talk about black folks. You're always talking about racism. You're always talking about how, y'all are in situations and y'all are perceived a certain way. But a lot of that has to come down to how you behave. You get what you put out. And when I look at the behavior of a lot of black folks, it's embarrassing. I look at this and I don't go, well, that's just us being us. I look at that like that's just us embarrassing us. And it really hurts to have to hear it come from this white guy right here. Just keeping it honest and real. See, I know folks, he's white, he can't tell black, he don't know nothing about black folks. Oh, wait, he don't need to know nothing about black folks, okay? And what people know about black folks, a lot of it is because of what black folks do. And the fact that a lot of other black folks who don't behave like that, don't hold them accountable and don't say, look, man, y'all are bad examples for black folks. So let's continue because, see, once again, I need to see some evidence. Let's continue.
Are you not ashamed when you see these things? Are there any people that see this and have the slightest lick of self-awareness, of common sense, of decency to say, are you not ashamed to see these scenes play out over and over again? Where's the accountability?
So we're going to go ahead and I want to do a little experiment, okay? All right. If you're watching my channel, you're probably conservative. But if you happen to be somebody who said, well, I want to go ahead and check out what this dude, is talking about. Yeah, you might be upset just listening to what he's saying right now. But I'm going to show you some evidence, some videos. And I want you to take your emotions, your feelings out of it. If you black, if you upset about what he's saying, take your feelings out of it and watch this right here. And you ask yourself, what other culture do I see out here doing things like this? What is it about the black community that a lot of black folks are behaving like this and think this is okay? So let's check it out. How about this right here? Look at that. Yep. What do you think those white people are thinking? Right there. You see that? She thinks that's funny. I mean, almost butt naked, horrible body, but goes in there and she's twerking right in front of those folks and those kids. Now, you want those white folks to say, that's just a one-off and stuff like that. You don't want them to be impacted by that. If I was there with kids as a black person and she did that, I'd be going to look at this chick. Would you get your nasty tail out of here? See, this is the stuff that a lot of black folks do. And then other black folks get mad when they hear people talk about black culture like this guy's talking about. But here's more evidence. You tell me, after watching this, like I had to sit back and listen to that professor read out loud my writing, my response, I want you to watch this and then you be honest enough to tell me, well, so what? You know what? Black people are allowed to act like this. This shouldn't determine how folks judge us.
Come check this.
This is probably in Times Square, New York.
Come check this.
Right out in the street. Look at that.
Scaring people,
Oh my God! Let's go! He woke up! Oh!
Running folks over.
Just hitting pedestrians.
Woo! Oh my God! Let's f***ing go! Yeah! Let's go! Boy wildin'. Boy is wildin' right now. Oh my f***ing God! Oh my God!
These guys are crazy.
Woo! Oh my God!
Now, we're just getting started. I mean, as you watch that, the whole objective of what they're doing is to intimidate, scare folks, put themselves in dangerous scenarios like that. And I'm thinking, okay, what happens when you mess around and hurt somebody? What happens when you cause an accident? What happens when you get yourself killed? And once again, show me the video footage of another group of people from another race or culture behaving like this. They celebrate that crap. Oh my God, This is the stuff that they're doing. If they were out just popping willies on their own, fine. But the whole element behind what they're doing is let me intimidate, scare folks, cause dangerous situations. Yeah, and that's what they do. That's what they're doing. But wait, let's finish hearing what he got to say, because hey, maybe that's just a couple video clips. We don't want to go ahead and respond just because of those clips. Let's see. Here we go.
And this is where that word fatigue comes in. We're just tired of seeing it. You see these clips, and you know every race of person, maybe except for most blacks, white, Chinese, Indian, Hispanic, and even liberals see these clips and they say, are you surprised? They shake their heads. They say, yep, usual suspects. They say, yep, that's about right.
Instead of getting mad after hearing something like that being said, you should get mad at the folks who are creating this type of behavior that formulates these opinions. You should be upset hearing someone from another culture, and every culture out there looks at these clips and these videos and they think that. They're looking at black folks and saying they're acting a fool. And black folks to get mad because they're going, these are racist folks looking at us. And I'm saying, what you're doing is you are making excuses for sorry behavior. Nothing worse than to feel like somebody looks at you as sorry. When I was growing up, you never wanted to be the kid that didn't get picked because they've been, don't pick him, man. He's sorry. You going, I ain't sorry. Yeah, well, you know what? It's hard to defend whether black folks are sorry or not when you are watching clips like this, and then other black folks get mad when people look at y'all and go, man, them black people are sorry. They sure enough acting a fool, and pitying them and saying what they can't get right. They don't know how to act. It's not their fault. Those are things that people say that I go, don't say that. Don't say that. We're better than that. If I let y'all get away with that, if I let black folks get away with accepting those as excuses for their behavior, then I'm allowing black folks to be sorry. I know that black folks could be better than that. There was a time when we were, okay? But for some reason, our culture has deteriorated to the point where other cultures look at us and go, man, them black folks are sorry. And if you don't believe me, look at this.
By now, you may have seen some of the teen takeover in Lakeview late Monday night. Many here jumped off the red line at Belmont, soon blocking traffic and jumping on cars. No violence, but disruption and damage. The disappointment doesn't end there. When police asked CTA to help slow the flow,
they said that they are not going to bypass the station.
Well, chaos breaking out in downtown Chicago on Saturday night as hundreds of young people crowded the streets. And the video coming from this shocking, showing massive groups jumping on cars, causing tourists to flee the sound of gunfire. 2 teens were hospitalized after they were shot in all of this.
This right here is what it looked like on the streets of Chicago Saturday night.
We had people jumping on cars. This is insane.
Large numbers of young people crowding the area of the loop from Michigan Avenue to Clark Street and could be seen jumping on parked cars and smashing windows. 2 times, groups of teens were also seen punching, kicking, and stomping on someone on the ground.
The crime in Chicago is simply out of hand. It's nuts.
As chaos unfolded Saturday night, it was enough to disrupt traffic and CTA service. Officers flooded the scene, attempting to control the crowds. In the midst of it all, shots were fired just after 9, leaving 2 teens injured. A 17-year-old boy was hit in the leg, and a 16-year-old boy was shot in the arm. Meantime, this isn't the first time this weekend police have responded to a massive group of teens. Hundreds took over 31st Street Beach Friday night, where a 14-year-old boy was also shot.
Now, you want to defend that? I mean, if you're listening to what he's talking about and you're mad, please defend that. I mean, in fact, do me a favor. Show me the clips of hundreds of white kids doing that. Because I know immediately they're going to say, he's white. White folks act up too. Show me the alternative footage. Show me the clips of any other culture. Asians doing that. Show me video footage of Native Americans, even Hispanics. I mean, there's a small group of Hispanics out there in LA to be doing the car thing, but the whole teen takeover, the whole just kicking cars and twerking in the middle of the street, where are these kids' parents? I mean, you know these things are going on. You should have some idea that your kid is probably going out running down and participating in acts like this, and they just let them go out there. And it's embarrassing when I click on this stuff and I go, I know that almost every kid in that crowd is going to be black. It's embarrassing. I can't get mad at what this dude is saying after looking at that.
Are you not ashamed? And when are black people going to turn that around? I'm so sick of, and I think all of society is sick of, hearing about all these excuses. The problem is a lack of accountability. And I think a lot of people hide behind these various things, whether it's the liberals that say it's slavery and racism, or it's the conservatives, and they blame it on welfare, or hip hop, or the Great Society. It starts with you. It starts with every individual person making choices like we all do. Who's raising these people? Who's raising these people? It's other people. It's baby mamas and baby daddies. I mean, who's perpetuating this? And who does it benefit to make these excuses and to say it's everybody else? I see this stuff and look, yeah, we are going to call it out. We, the Americans, we the white people of America, we the peaceful, law-abiding, tax-paying people of America are saying, hey, blacks, get your together.
I also feel that way. Blacks, get your crap together. That's all you can say when you look at this stuff and you say, wow, the majority of all of this chaos is coming from a small percentage of folks in society. And that small percentage are black folks. 13% roughly of society. And the majority of all of this mass chaos is coming from black folks. But they're the quickest to get mad and upset and cry racism and blame it on everything else but us. And that's the problem. You cannot get better if you're misdiagnosing the problem. And it hurts to have to hear it called out by this gentleman right here. We should have more black folks out here making videos like this, saying, black folks, get your stuff together. See, I know there's going to be black folks right now that's going to dismiss everything this dude is saying because he's white. But if you're being honest and you're watching these clips, you're telling me this is okay behavior? You're telling me this behavior out of all of these black folks are not setting a tone? You're telling me that there's some reason, some other excuse besides parenting and besides low social skills and horrible behavior? Yeah, you're telling me that this is okay? Give me the excuse and show me the alternative. Show me the other folks out there wilding out like this, and maybe we can talk. But right now it appears to be coming from us, and that's a problem. So yeah, he's calling it out, but so am I.
Get your fucking shit together. We are fucking tired of you. We are tired of seeing this stuff. It always seems to be you. Do you know that, and I'm just expressing what is a common sentiment. Do you know that everybody thinks that if we snapped our fingers and you all disappeared tomorrow, everybody thinks our quality of life would go up? Do you realize that? I'm just saying it. Everyone's thinking it.
That hurts. That hurts to hear. But if you think about this, the negative impact on society when it comes down to crime and things like this. I said black people are 13% of the population. And a lot of these things that are happening are criminal activities, and it messes up the quality of life. And all you got to do is just look at this. We are number 2 in all of these categories when it comes down to criminal activity. And we're second to white folks only because white folks outnumber us by so much that, of course, their numbers are going to be higher. But when you look at this, relative to the small percentage of black folks in our society, and yet they represent these high amounts of crime, all you can do is go, oh, God, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. So now look at all of these categories: rape, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, larceny, all number 2. We're number 2 straight down the board. Motor vehicle theft, arson, violent crimes, property crimes, other assaults, just right now, embezzling, stolen property, everything, vandalism, weapons carry, possessions, prostitution, unbelievable, sex offense, drug abuse, gambling, offenses against the family and children, driving under the influence, liquor laws, everything, right down the category. It's right down the board. Number 2, look at the high impact that we have on society when it comes down to all those categories. All those categories. So he has a point. He has a point. especially when it comes down to these large groups of black folks that go out there and act a fool in society. Yeah, who do you think that is impacting? Who, I mean, do you think that, folks are just overlooking that? Do you think, these areas that these folks are doing this in would be better if they weren't there doing that? It would. If we could go back to a time when black people had some sense of dignity and pride, and the way we were perceived, the way folks looked at us, then we would be better off. But right now, how can I defend stuff like this? You don't think if these black folks weren't here in this next clip, you don't think that community would be better off? Look at this mess.
Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Yes. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. That's what I'm talking about. Rest well, Eddie. Rest well, Eddie. Uh-oh, look, here come more people. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, bro, what's security on me, bro?
No, Nene, back up. Hold on, wait. Mario, back up. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. Where my key at?
Come on.
Right there, nigga. That's what they did. Where's China?
Go to the sidewalk.
Nene, come on, China good. He right here. China right here, he good.
Look at your screen. This is surveillance video of the burglary crew here at the smoke shop on Taylor Street in Little Italy. The crew breaks the front window before busting through the door, quickly able to pull the ATM from the back of the store where it was bolted to the ground, pushing it right out the front door.
What's up, y'all? We have this beautiful customer today, and I'm buying beauty. See, she's the best customer. Oh, what happened? What happened? Plug not like that. Damn. See? Yeah, put it. Yeah, push it. Damn, the bag is not closed. Say, what's going on? Slow. Push. Yes, tight. Damn, it's fuller. Customer service. What's going on? Oh shit, she breaking it. Damn. Yep. Damn, I'm sorry.
I mean, what can you say to that? Yeah, you can get mad all day listening to what he has to say. But what can you say to these clips as you watch this? And like I said, I'm open-minded. Show me the videos where a whole bunch of white kids are doing stuff like this. Whole bunch of white folks are just going in and committing burglary right out there in the open. Broad daylight sometimes. Show me it. I mean, I'm just saying. I want to be able to dispute what he's saying, but it's hard to do when I see things like that.
When we think of what's wrong with Chicago, it's like utopia. Chicago's like a utopia. Beautiful riverfront, beautiful lakefront, concerts in the park, ball games in the park, beautiful architecture, the best food. You know what the one problem is with Chicago that's driving the businesses out of the Magnificent Mile? You know what the one problem is that's making the public transit unusable? You know what the one problem is that's driving richer residents from the city?
Margaret Vatum says she came to Chicago to see the ballet, but it was the scene in front of her that caused her to move quickly back to her hotel. She's been to the city many times before, but feels uneasy after Saturday's event.
Now you see that? I mean, do you think that's good for business? You think that's good for tourism? And yet they're talking about Trump is going to send folks up there to Chicago to shut down the crime. It's going to be scary for black people and things like that. And I'm saying, why do you think all the businesses are leaving? Why do you think, business owners are saying something's got to be done about the crime? Why do you think folks aren't wanting to go to Chicago to enjoy the beauty of Chicago? Do you think it's because there's a whole bunch of white folks out there wilding out and acting a fool? A whole bunch of, Latinos, a whole bunch of Asians? Do you think that's what's going on? I mean, it's obvious who's causing all of the problems when it comes down to the crime. When you look at all of those folks that got shot over that weekend, how many white folks did you hear about getting shot? These were all black folks getting shot. You think folks want to put themselves in these environments and conditions? It's embarrassing. It really is. And I get mad listening to other black folks make excuses about this. Once again, we shouldn't have to hear this come out of this white guy right here. We should be the first one saying, get y'all stuff together.
It's the crime. It's the chaos. It's the violence. And you know what demographic is almost exclusively responsible for it? It's you. It's people. Everyone's thinking that. Everyone's sick of it.
Man, no it ain't, man. Stop stereotyping us, man. Man, you always blaming us for stuff. Or is he?
Street location in Emeryville. You can see here the man in all black. He grabs the phones from the display tables, puts them into his pockets, and then he walks out of the store. He also walks past an Emeryville police car before getting into a Hyundai Elantra. Now, we have since learned, though, that there was not an officer in that patrol vehicle at the time.
Tonight, the urgent manhunt for dozens of robbers targeting department stores and luxury brands in highly coordinated and often violent smash and grabs. Just hours before Thanksgiving Day, police say thieves used bear spray to assault a security guard at a Los Angeles Nordstrom, 5 of them brazenly making off with $25,000 worth of designer purses. That same night, thieves stealing $20,000 worth of merchandise at an Apple store north of San Francisco. And this past weekend, roughly 80 people running back to their cars after a flash mob-style heist at an Oakland area Nordstrom, snatching items. One employee was pepper sprayed, another attacked.
It's unlikely that 80 people are just going to show up and arbitrarily just decide to do this at once. It's the gang network that we see engaged in this type of activity.
Burglars also over the weekend taking a sledgehammer to a Beverly Hills Louis Vuitton and Saks Fifth Avenue store, but unable to make it inside before police cars approached. Law enforcement across the country now concerned about similar crimes. Police near Chicago say 14 thieves stormed a Louis Vuitton in broad daylight as shoppers scatter, masked looters emptying shelves, making off with $120,000 worth of merchandise in mere seconds.
Smash and grab thieves steal thousands of dollars in high-end watches from a jewelry store. This is Newport Beach. The smash and grab robbery happened last Friday at Jewelers on Time. That was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Surveillance video captured the robbery. A man inside the store appeared to hold a security gate open for 3 thieves. They rushed in the front door.
I stand corrected. After watching that and seeing nothing but black folks doing this, I'm saying, ooh, jeez, maybe he's right. Maybe it is us. Maybe there's something going on in the black community that needs to be addressed. I mean, what's the deal? What is causing this? What has happened to black folks that have allowed us to increase these type of behaviors in public, to just become a nuisance? And I'm not saying all black folks, we all know that as black people, we know that this isn't the majority of black folks acting like this, but it's such a high percentage. And then the ones that aren't participating in this will oftentimes get mad and still support this indirectly by getting upset when it is either addressed or anybody else call it out. They want to cry racism, and indirectly what you're doing is you are defending this type of behavior. Yeah, you're allowing these folks to be sorry if every time somebody calls this type of crap out, you cry racism and make excuses for it. You have to ask yourself, what has happened to black folks that have made us end up acting like this? And I would have to dare to say it's probably the downfall of our culture. I mean, if you don't believe me, all you got to do is just look at the differences of how black folks behaved back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They were proud. They got up every day. They dressed up. They would say, look, man, stop acting a fool. You don't want folks looking at you like that. They wanted to make sure that they were civilized. The way men and women dressed, my grandfather would get up every day, wouldn't even go nowhere, but put on his jacket, his little button-up shirt, his nice pants, and sit on the porch. Put his little top hat on. Everywhere he went presentable. He wasn't going out there looking like some of these folks are. Yeah, and somewhere along the line, we lost that. Yeah, our culture has declined so much to where these type of things are looked at as funny. it's just we just being black, making excuses like what we're going to see as we close out. A perfect example of a young black man who seemed to be a little more socially aware, have some social skills. He's in a nice position, but his mind is stuck, okay, in making excuses for black folks. He's not even aware of how we are the sum total of our own choices. Let's go ahead and close out with this.
You have to also take into the fact that black people have only been able to completely legally be able to make profit for themselves for around 60 years. And this is, since segregation ended in 1965 and the Equal Rights Act in 1965, so what you're talking, there's not...
How does that, so let's talk about you. How did that impact you? How did something that happened 60 years ago impact your life?
It impacts me all the time.
How?
What do you, okay.
You're at Texas A&M, you're doing great.
Okay, yes, sure, yeah.
So aren't you a living example that all that's a bunch of nonsense and you could just act good and, behave well and succeed?
But there's also living examples of the exact opposite. If you look in the impoverished neighborhoods in certain parts of Chicago or St. Louis, there's black communities being thrown aside because they're not getting education.
Thrown aside? Okay, yes, so I think we can get somewhere. Why have the black community gotten poorer since the passage of the Civil Rights Act? Tell me that.
Because of the way the culture has been perpetuated through the years.
Hold on. Think about it. So they were richer when we were segregated and more racist. America's become less racist.
What about Tulsa?
Yeah, no one's going to defend what happened in Tulsa again. But let's talk. We're talking about a lot of different cities. We're talking about Chicago, Tulsa. But let's again. This is a very important point. Do you think the fact that 70% of black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture.
So respectfully allow me to interject. How does the white culture impact the fact whether or not a black dad stays around when he impregnates a woman?
I'm not saying it's the white culture.
What is it?
The culture that has been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery, the 100 years of segregation, and Jim Crow laws.
Now see, once again, it's the culture that's been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery, this and that. And you're telling me black folks aren't smart enough or aware enough at this point to overcome that? Our mind is still, suffering from an era that we didn't even experience or live through. We're not able to say, you know what, maybe we should act better. When you blame it on stuff like that, what you're saying is we're sorry. You're saying we dumb. You're saying we don't have the ability to look at these things and say, look, those things happened years ago, but right now there's nothing standing in the way of us changing our behavior except us. All we're doing is using that stuff to be sorry. The past to be sorry. So now, once again, a white man is addressing this black kid and he's telling him, you know what the real problem is? Stinking thinking. So this guy's talking about it's the culture because the white man. But yet at the same time, Charlie Kirk is about to bring out some facts that I'm saying, well, if that's the case, why were we better off after slavery? Why were black men and women sticking together and having family units after slavery? At what point did we just start to say, well, you know what? We were all sticking together. The family unit was tight. Slavery didn't break up the family unit like that. We came back together. We now, we actually are prideful to have a husband, wife, and kids. We're embarrassed when, a mother says, well, I ain't got no daddy in the house. It's embarrassing to say, well, I got a divorce. It's embarrassing to say, well, I got an abortion. These things were embarrassing to black folks during a certain era after slavery, after all of the stuff that young man mentioned. But after time, for some reason, we just threw all that stuff off. No longer ashamed to say, I got 4 or 5 kids and I'm only 20. No longer ashamed to say, well, you know what, I'm working on my 3rd divorce. No longer. These things now in the black culture just seems to be, normal. When I taught in high school, kids were shocked when people said they had a mother and a father that lived in the house. Shocked. They were shocked when one girl asked this girl who was, I think maybe 15, how many kids you got? The girl looked at her and was like, what? None. I'm only 15. You ain't got no kids yet? Just like that. Just asked her. And I'm saying, so wait, we weren't always like that. We didn't always think like that. So what are you talking about? This guy, once again, has bought into that garbage that, you know what, slavery and stuff that built the culture and all of this stuff. No, our culture deteriorated. It wasn't like that, and it became like this.
In 1960, before the Civil Rights Act, 20% of black youth had a dad around. Now it's, 20% were single fathers, 80% had a dad around. It's been inverted. So we actually have seen black dads run away from their kids the last 60 years. Why is that?
Because of the raised incarceration rates, because of the perpetuated culture.
So how does one go to jail?
That's obvious. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe it's because they committed crimes?
Okay, but when you're forced for, it's not just the, this is old, this is in the past, this doesn't affect you anymore.
Okay, so actually let's take a different group. How did the Holocaust impact Jews? They're doing pretty well.
Well, because they got reparations, we didn't.
How? What reparations did the Jews get?
Through acknowledgement, through money, through
No, we acknowledge slavery happened.
Okay, but you're sitting here and acting like it plays no role.
No, but to your argument, the Holocaust was 80 years ago. Half of all the Jews on the planet were killed. Everything they earned was taken. Jews are doing great. If all of a sudden something that happened 80 years ago impacts your material prosperity, how did Jews defy the curve? How did poor Asians do so well? Why is it that Asians are now the wealthiest minority in America, many of whom came with no money in the 1950s or 60s?
Because of the culture and opportunities that were provided to them.
But you're not hearing me out. Black Americans have had the same opportunities. However,
people still look at us like criminals every day.
Hold on, but I don't look at you like a criminal.
I'm not saying you do, I'm saying some people do.
But I mean, do you want me to be brutally honest with you, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Yes, be brutally honest with me.
Okay, do black people commit more crimes than white people? It's not even close.
Okay, but you have to take into account the culture that has been perpetuated.
Okay, got it. So we can agree on this. Do you mean internal black culture?
It's not. It's deeper than that.
Do you think? Let's take time out. Do you think the average rap artist that a black kid in the hood is listening to is glorifying marriage and family and saving your money?
That's what sells because it's a culture thing. It's not just within the black community.
I agree. No, but hold on.
Everyone listens to it. It's not just isolated.
It's bad for everyone who listens to it. The point being is that black youth, as they are being raised, their role models are largely not glorifying staying with one woman, getting married, going to church. And if you're wrong, show me the black role models that are doing that. There might be a couple I could think of, maybe. But if it's about culture, you're right. The internal black culture has collapsed the last 60 years.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened. See, this guy is misplacing the blame. He got it right. He's saying it's the culture, but he's blaming white folks on somehow creating our culture. Somehow forcing us to listen to certain music that influences negatively. Somehow influencing us to walk around with our pants hanging off our butt. Don't know how to, speak proper English. Don't know how to shave and clean up when you go into an interview. Going out, just using all types of broken English. Don't know how to have decent social skills, conflict resolution. Somehow white folks have done this to us. And I'm saying, well, we weren't always like that. I'm looking at an era that we actually dressed up, behaved, knew how to speak, go into interviews, show folks that we wanted the job, show up on time. But for some reason, we've changed. And this guy's saying it's the culture. It's the culture. But who's responsible for the culture? Who's responsible for that? Now, I know some folks will say, well, it's because of the welfare system and how they, sent the welfare system into the black communities to break up the father and stuff. Yeah, a lot of that played into the destruction of the family unit when it comes down to black folks. But that same group of folks who orchestrated that are the same group of folks that black folks are voting for to this day. Yeah, the same group of folks that were responsible for all the stuff this guy's talking about, when he's talking about slavery and Jim Crow laws, are the same group of folks that get out there and tell you racism is the greatest threat to black folks and all of this stuff. And I'm saying, so you're supporting all of those folks who knew that this was probably a good idea and way to, put black people in a certain position where they're more likely to buy our crap and support our party and vote for us at like 90%. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure that guy's voting for those folks who don't give a darn about the family unit and when it comes down to black folks. But ultimately, it comes down to us making better decisions. Just because somebody, threw a monkey wrench at us, You're telling me all of the stuff that black folks have overcame down through all the years, now we can't overcome the fact that slavery took place all those years ago, and you got the welfare system, and we just can't get right. Our mind is stuck on stupid. And then you listen to all of the white liberals out there that pity us and say that, you know what, it's just that they can't get right. Look at, you know what, they're always behind the 8 ball. They can't read, they can't do this, they can't get jobs, they can't, that's all they can't, and it makes me mad. Every time I hear that, I go, you know what, this guy right here, he's blaming it on everything. He's allowing himself and others to be sorry. When I hear even white liberals look at us like that, I go, no, you're talking about us like we're sorry, all right? All right, we're better than that. Don't be talking about we can't get IDs to vote, that we don't know how to get on the internets and stuff like that. That is the racism of low expectations. Would you want white liberals and other cultures to look at us like they pity us? Is that how you want it to be? You want us to say they can't help it because of the past and all of that? Is that what you want as a black person? Or would you want to say that, hey, that might have happened, but I overcame it. I grew up in the same environment. Youngstown, Ohio, horrible, overcame it. And it starts with the majority of black folks with common sense and social behavior and skills starting to check the other folks who's acting a fool and accurately identify the problem. And the problem is not racism, slavery, the white man, it's us.
We're no longer elevating the family. We're no longer elevating staying with the person that you're with. So our contention here as conservatives is that the systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
Do you feel that systemic racism isn't real?
Of course not. What can I do that you can't do? Name it.
Okay.
No, seriously. What can I do that you can't do?
Fallacy. That's a slippery slope.
No, it's not.
I don't know why.
Very simple.
No,
because back in 1940, you would have been able to answer that question. Well, Charlie, there's a bathroom over there that I can't go to. There's a major league team.
I can't walk into the grocery store and get the same looks that you do. I walked into Brookshire Brothers a couple weeks ago when I was looked at.
That's an insanely hyper paranoid way of living life. But that's not evidence, right?
It's a real example.
By the way, if I walk into a black neighborhood, I get bad looks too, okay? So I don't know what the contention is.
Because of the way you treat our culture and the way you perpetuate.
Oh, wait, hold on. The way we treat your culture, we have gone to such great calisthenics and ridiculous gymnastics to prove that we're not racist. In fact, it's the worst thing that you could be called in America. We had, during George Floyd 2020, we had hundreds of millions of dollars given to Black Lives Matter. I don't know where that money went. Did it improve material worth of Black America? So, I mean, and we actually do know where it went, actually.
We're forced into underfunded communities where schools are based off of property value. We can't.
Well, actually, school choice is now the law of the land here in Texas, so that's not correct. Secondly,
do you just expect a single-parent home to pick up and move into some rich neighborhood?
Well, again, so let's go back to why are they the single-parent home?
Because the hundreds of years.
Do you believe in the maxim or the belief that you should take responsibility for your decisions?
It's not just one person's decisions. It's so much deeper than that.
See,
why are you trying to?
That's where you and I have a different belief. You believe in this.
It's not. It's a fact.
No, it's a belief. Again, you have to tell me then, why do Jews do so well? Holocaust didn't impact their material worth. How did Asians do so well? And by the way, even more so, why are Hispanics getting so much wealthier? If we were so racist, why are Hispanics all of a sudden gaining income the last 20 years? There's something.
It's a difference in culture.
He don't know why they're clapping. He wants to be sorry. He wants these excuses. I mean, do you think any other culture are making these type of excuses? And that's what burns me up. Black folks are stuck on stupid. It burns me up. It's the culture. It's the, the years of slavery and this and that. And they all had you look at these other cultures who have been persecuted in some era or some time, but yet they overcome because it starts with the thinking. You look at how Asians approach, education. They have pride in certain things. The Latino community is hardworking folks. These are communities that I have observed myself. Asian folks, man, they be getting it in. Indians, all of them, Africans. But then you get to Black Americans. And for some reason, a large proportion of them can't get right. They've been brainwashed into thinking that there's always something standing in the way of our success. And we always got to blame some past boogeyman for the way we're behaving right now. And this young man is doing that. And the folks are saying, we're not trying to hear that anymore. And that's why they're clapping. Because what Charlie Kirk is saying makes sense. What this guy's doing is saying, I'm going to try my best to be sorry. That's what I'm going to do.
But it's a difference in culture. The way that each culture is treated is so vastly different in America.
But again, you have to tell me, other than bad looks at the grocery store, how else is your future, you as a man in America, not a black man, how is your future somehow restricted by racism?
My natural hair is seen as unprofessional when I go into an office or workplace. When I walk around in certain places, people just assume, like I've said earlier, the dirty looks. When people think you are automatically the worst of the worst solely because of...
We don't think that.
You've interrupted me like 10 times
because
now.
you think you know what white people think, and you don't.
I don't know what white people think.
Then why do you keep on saying you know what white people think?
Because I've seen it. I'm not
you've
saying
seen our thoughts?
I've seen what people have done to me and people who look like me around the world and in America.
How? But again, you are, let's just make an example. You are here in the wealthiest country ever, at an amazing university, with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you. And all you want to do is look backwards at everything that prevented you, when you are a glaring example that there is no systemic racism and you can actually achieve your wildest dreams.
Whoa, I never said that. Hey, I'm not the only black person who exists out there. There's so many people who this culture is affecting to this day.
Do you know black Americans are the richest black people on earth? You cannot find a black majority country, or any country where black people have significant representation, where they are as wealthy. Because even the poorest people in America are in the top 5%, the top 2% of wealth around the world. And so my whole belief is stop acting like you're a victim and start making better choices.
Not acting like a victim, whoa.
Respect.
This is not a victim mentality.
No, it fundamentally is, because white people are not out to get you. There's nothing. There is nothing holding black people back. Let me say that again. There is nothing holding black people back. In fact, the opposite. You can get into colleges with lower test scores.
But
you could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it. Black people are wildly disrepresentation.
People say that to me all the time, and they just walk around like it doesn't mean anything around here.
Say what? Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
Derogatorily.
Yes.
No, I think you're lying.
Why would I be lying about
So you're
this?
trying to tell me at this campus, did you report it to student services?
I'm not. I have too much on my plate to worry about this.
So you're going to say at this campus, you're going to indict the moral character of Texas A&M.
I'm not indicting the moral character of Texas A&M.
Oh, yes, you are. You're saying that.
I'm indicting the moral character of one person or a few people.
Oh, well, now it's one. So you heard it all the time, and now it's one. Got it. So
it's not okay. You're
no, but
taking me
this
out
is
of
the point: is that I don't believe you, because now you resort back to a race hoax to make it seem as if the white kids on this campus are like racist and terrible.
White kids.
Oh, so was it a black guy that said it to you?
I'm not.
It matters a lot, because this is how lies are able to grow. Jussie Smollett, we see this. You have to challenge them head on.
Do you think I'm lying when I say that people say the N-word around here? And just
if I think a white person comes up to you derogatorily and says, "Shut up, N-word," I'm
not saying they said it.
I said, are they saying it derogatorily?
But that doesn't mean it's word for word like that.
But okay, so then it's not an insult then. So then don't bring it up as if it's evidence of racism.
Because you brought the N-word up first. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. You specifically said, name me an instance of the N-word.
No, I said black people can say things that white people can't say. Of course that's true.
But that's automatically implying that one word.
It's more than that. But let me just kind of build this out further.
What is it then?
There's a lot of things black people can say.
Explain it to me.
You want me to give you more examples of things? Yes. Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do? Cancel me? Black people are allowed to say. Black people are allowed to say.
I'm a grown man. I got way too much to worry about.
Black people are allowed to say that there is a systemic fraud issue within the PP loan application in black America. Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. If most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want. So black individuals have much more intellectual public freedom than white people do. If a white person were to come up and say, you know, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have enough.
Why would you?
Because it's true. Because
why would you just walk up to someone and talk and attack their culture from the outside?
Well, hold on. Because hold on. Let's look at the evidence. You said to myself, you said there's all these people suffering in Chicago. There's all these people that are terrible. I'm telling you why. It's because there's been bad decisions that have been institutionalized. Let me finish. And rap artists and athletes and people at the top level of black society that refuse to ever challenge the core rot in black America, which is that they are allowing degeneracy and hedonism to eat the soul of what once was a beautiful black culture, and instead they go around saying it's the boogeyman of racism, the white man is out to get you, and the result is black America is doing worse than it was in the 1960s. That is the contention, period.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. There are folks in black culture that enables other black folks that are acting a fool and being sorry, blaming it on all kind of stuff, throwing out accusations of racism instead of just being honest and saying, look, hey, how about we hold our own people more responsible for this? How about we demand better behavior? How about we encourage, a lot of folks and communities that unfortunately have a whole bunch of kids that act this way. How about we encourage them to get your hands on your own kids and make sure they're not down there running around, jumping on top of cars, twerking and stuff in the middle of the night? How about we encourage that? But instead, we want to blame everybody but them. And it's embarrassing. As a black person, I'm saying, okay, you want to be looked at differently? How would you think, after seeing all the clips I've showed, how would you think an Asian person would feel if their Asian daughter brought a black person home? Black person probably could be one of the best behaved black folks ever. But immediately they, oh God, you know what? I don't know if we want this brother, Indian, Jewish. There's so many different cultures that immediately would go, oh boy, this is a risk. I don't know. Seen a lot of things, heard a lot of things, but not just heard, seen a lot of things. It ain't one of those just the rumors. We got evidence. Show me the evidence of all the Asians jumping on cars and tearing up stuff and going in and looting and stuff. The Jews, the Italians, the Irish, name them. I mean, pick one. Pick one. Show me any group of people that's behaving like we're seeing black Americans behave. And yet we want to get mad when they say, well, we got black fatigue. We're sick of seeing this behavior, sick of hearing y'all all blame it on everything else and call everybody else racist. Sick of that mess, because I am.
It's not just, it's a culture. It's so much deeper than the present day we are in. I don't know why you're pretending like it just doesn't matter.
Now, see, this guy wants to be sorry. This young man right here, he's looking for every reason to be sorry. He's talking about, the way white people look at us and this and this and that. No, how do you look at us? That's my question. I mean, and you're talking about racism, and Charlie Kirk brings up a good point. This is the best time in the world for black people right now when it comes down to having the rest of society tiptoeing around them on eggshells. I mean, the worst thing you could do is call out a white person for racism. And I think we've even overcompensated to the point where a lot of these folks will sling that mess out there to get away with stinking behavior. You judging me because I'm racist? No, I'm judging you because you're acting a fool. You're judging me because you fired me because you racist. No, I'm firing you because you show up late every day. You talk on the phone at work. You go to break early, and come back late. Your behavior sucks. That's why. But you're crying racism for everything. So this guy right here, he don't get it. He's blaming the culture, but he's misplacing who really is encouraging this culture, this cultural behavior.
There is nothing that is preventing black people from prospering. Nothing. The only thing is that you guys have been hypnotized to be victims of your own mind, to think as if there's a white person out to get you. I walk in the grocery store, they look at me differently. All that stuff is complete rubbish. The thing that is preventing you.
Life experiences, you're just denying my experience I just shared to you in front of all these people.
If you think that, okay, let me just be very clear.
I know.
America has come really far if your best example of racism is getting bad looks in a grocery store. We have made
only my
incredible
experience.
racial
That's
moral
only
progress.
my experience. There are so many other people
But
out
I'm
there.
happy to hear every example that they have. It boils down to this. We are not just a racist country. We are the least racist country ever to exist. We go out of our way not to be called the R word, to demonstrate that we aren't racist, to show to people that I actually have compassion for others and that I want to try to help people of different skin color. If you want to have a privileged life in America, very simple. Start acting a certain way. Our belief system is that you come down to the most foundational family unit, and when that breaks down so severely, don't be shocked if that group, when it acts that way, stays in poverty over a longer period of time. Asians are incredibly loyally married. It's one of the reasons why Asian Americans do so well in this country. Hispanics do very well. White Americans increasingly are not doing as well.
They also came here by choice too. My ancestors did not come here by choice, but
so
we don't have to go too far into that.
We don't have to go into that. I want to get to the next question. Again, you should be kissing the ground because you're right. You didn't come here by choice. But
why are you telling me to?
Hold on, I'm telling you right now. You should be kissing the ground with gratitude because you're right. You are not in Africa, and you should be thankful you're not in Africa, that you're in the United States of America. That's my end of contention. Thank you very much.
Well, I think Charlie Kirk put that very plain and simple, because as much as you see a lot of black Americans complaining about slavery and stuff like that, they're not rushing back to Africa. They should be thankful. Yeah, it wasn't cool the way black folks in the past were brought here, but at the same time, I'm glad that I'm here. I wouldn't want to be in any other country, and that's why all those other folks are trying to come over here. But somehow this young man, he wants to blame it on a time frame that he has no connection to. He's smart and intelligent enough at this point to know how to act and take advantage of all of the benefits that America has provided, but instead he wants to make excuses about his ancestors, generations and generations that he's removed from. Somehow, because they were brought here against the will, it's impacting me today. Those African ancestors aren't making young black kids run down there and jump on top of those cars and block traffic and shoot each other. They're not doing that. Those ancestors aren't, making black folks break into these stores and rob and stuff like that. They're not doing that. They're not making these folks go into the places half dressed, booty shaking. They're not doing that. And neither is white folks making them do that. These are choices done by black people. And the sooner black people stop making excuses about this, maybe there can start to be some healing when it comes down to the black community and the black culture. This behavior has to stop. And yeah, white, black, or otherwise, calling this stuff out is not racism. It's just observation. It's just calling it for what it is, and it should hurt black folks to actually have to hear this come out of two white folks. There it is, Charlie Kirk and the other guy. It should be tons of black folks out there checking this type of behavior like it used to be when black folks had a sense of pride back in the day, where old folks around the neighborhood, boy, you acting a fool. Don't you embarrassing your family. Get yourself home. Pull your pants up. Hey, but now all of a sudden, you say that stuff. You're a sellout. You're Uncle Tom. You know what? You're just trying to be white. You're trying to tell folks to use proper English. You want me to talk white. Just stupid stuff like that. And then you get these videos out there and you can't defend it. You just can't defend it. So yeah, that was a tough message, but it was a tough, truthful message that if somebody is being honest as a black person and might get mad, you have to say, ooh, that evidence is pretty overwhelming. Look pretty bad on behalf of black folks. And maybe I'm going to start changing that perception, starting with me. Next black person I see, encouraging that behavior, laughing at it, joking, and making excuses for them. Say, man, come on, man. Come on. That's not right. That's not cool behavior. If you want them to treat us differently and view us differently, then start acting differently. Now, God bless you. God bless America. Thanks for listening to me. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Check out my alternative channel called Stop and Think About It. The links are below the video. You can support the channel also through my Cash App, my PayPal link, and all that good stuff. Other than that, we'll catch you on the next one. God bless you. Take care.